Brothers and sisters, listeners, and the dear audience, within and outside the Republic of the Gambia or within and outside of Africa. We are back again, and this will be the second part of our recording today. Well, it is where we are doing in-depth analysis in respect of the reason why disappointment, pessimism, and the like do remain as constant as a northern star in our political arena. Now, we are going to begin the second part with this question. What else then? Most of the time, supporters and surrogates or sympathizers remain more desirous and hopeful than reasonable. Mark you, hope is not a plan either. Now, what remains is that the act of balancing national duty and national interest with desires and subjective feelings wrapped within emotions, which, if not carefully done, could be worse than dreams and emotions being nourished in the psyche of society. What are the polls reference both? Because we did mention polls that we must use as landmarks in this field where we are, to be able to orientate ourselves. So what are the polls referenced both or hearing? First, let us accept the fact that national duty has been turned into business-related ventures, or it has been turned into business instead of service and responsibility combined in all minds and hearts. Let me repeat this part. What are the polls referenced above or hearing? First, let us accept the fact that national duty in most cases is turned into business instead of service and responsibility combined in all minds and hearts. Is it a hazard or unnecessary evil? I believe I would go with the former. Which are the most immediate areas that have been turned into income-generating projects, where politics and gain are used to represent responsibility? Let's look into poll 1. Poll 1 is rebellion or ethnocentric wars. Most of those who claim to be representing a group of people, including ethno-nationalists, or where ethnicity and religion are put into a perspective that fits only the subjective in this case, usually such moves are motivated by money and nothing else. The only thing you can add to it is expansion of territory. They want to control territory, render it ungovernable, to be able to generate income out of that controlled area. They are the sales agents of arms dealers or shady business companies within and overseas. Here, when I say within, I mean Africa. Poll 2 is politics and democratic intentions, in quotes, or politics and falsified democratic intentions. Many who claim to be in it for partisan reasons and nation are usually there for the former, not the latter. Well, it's where wisdom ends anyway, because the former cannot exist where the latter doesn't exist. So the logical, the wise, the intelligent, and the aware would rather underpin the importance of a nation and work towards solidifying it than solidifying political parties. But is that always the case? No. Now, worst of all, parties are more or less like charity organizations in certain areas, or money-making ventures than efficiency meant to replace an obsolete old order. Let me repeat that part. Most of the time, or worst of all, certain political parties are more or less like charity organizations or income-generating organizations or money-making ventures than efficiency meant to replace an obsolete old order. Which is why parties come together and disintegrate to strategize against each other once businessmen and women have guarded them or have gauged them from a distance. Now, it turns out to be money-making ventures for the benefit of few. That is why I once delivered a speech in Washington when I was invited by Duga, and I said, dictators use democracy against democracy itself, because they will claim to have the executive and then supported by the legislature and the judiciary. Well, if you look at it from a distance, it looks like a perfect democracy. But just remember, when you put oil and water in the same cup, they are together, but if you come closer, you will realize that the oil is floating above. It will never be under the water. Now, poll 3. Religion used for gain, not faith. Mark you, poll 3 can be a bedfellow for each of the above without hesitation. Nowadays, religion has become the fastest track for opportunists and political prostitutes. Therefore, terrorists, mercenaries can find this to be the most suitable comfort zone for them, as their intentions are closer to gain than faith. Ultimately, then, we can say the following. I'm going to end the second part of the videos today, and then we bring you the third part so that you can have enough space to be listening to them and then download them.